Hello, and welcome to the internet. My name is Mochi. Have you seen the movie Forrest Gump? Do you like shrimp? If the answer to either of those things was yes, then buckle up, bud. The other day, I spent some time ruminating a little bit too hard on some childhood memories because I am a well-adjusted adult. No other reason. And something that I randomly thought of was the seafood restaurant franchise called the Bubba Gump Shrimp Corporation, or for the educated, the Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. I happen to live by some pretty touristy locations, so like 2 to 4 hours in either direction of where I am right now, there's a Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. I actually wanted to go to one and experience it for the first time in like a decade, maybe more, but I know myself. I do know myself very well. It is a gift, it's a curse. I know that if I walk into a Bubba Gump Shrimp Co., it's one of those stores that has like merchandise, like a merch store in the front while you're waiting for your table if it's busy or something, or like after you eat. I know that I'm gonna want a t-shirt. One thing about me, I love a t-shirt. I love a t-shirt and I love a hoodie. So knowing that, I also know that I don't have the funds for gas and food and a t-shirt. I'm currently sitting pretty comfortably in my we have food at home era. So instead of going to the place, I'm going to talk about it for probably too long, get it out of my system, and never think about it again. I'm realizing that this is like the third video where I've been like, I'm gonna talk about it for an hour and then never think about it again. When I say never think about it again, I don't go back and watch them. I just record them and post them. And I imagine this will be pretty similar, but here we go. I don't have a very significant relationship with the movie Forrest Gump. It came out before I was born. So what do you want me to do? Do you know what I mean? I've seen it twice, and one of those times was last night at 3 a.m. If you haven't seen it, that's fine, because it's not required viewing to eat some fried shrimp. Do you know what I mean? The point is, when I'm thinking about Bubba Gump Shrimp, I'm not thinking about it from a Forrest Gump standpoint of view. I'm thinking about it as, when I went, I was probably in elementary school and a very young, stupid child. And as a result, ended up having only good vibes and only good times inside of a Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. So if you've never heard of Bubba Gump Shrimp, or you didn't know that it was a restaurant that actually is very large, it is like international, like it is in a lot of different countries. There are 34 locations. It's kind of a big deal. I don't know how successful it is right now. I have no way of gauging that because I'm not going to drive 2 hours. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, if you've never seen Forrest Gump, you might not immediately clock the gimmick they've got going on. You might just think, oh, this is really weird. What's going on? You might just think it's like a really weird setup, but it is a gimmick. There are, like, the menu items are references to the movie. I thought in my memories, a lot of more of the menu items had to do with the movie itself, or like they were named after characters from the movie. I checked the menu recently, like one of the closest menus to me, and I mean, none of the references are overt. I don't know where I got that from. I don't know. I just was expecting them to be more movie puns, lines from the movie, names from the movie, dishes from the movie kind of thing, and it's like less of that than I was expecting. But I know I just said that Forrest Gump was not mandatory viewing to eat fried shrimp, and I'm a person of my word. I'll tell you everything you need to know, but to my knowledge, you don't have to know these things to eat at Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. They're not gatekeeping the fried food, okay? In the movie Forrest Gump, based on the book Forrest Gump, you follow the life of the main character, Forrest Gump, exactly, who, contrary to what I wholeheartedly believed when I was a child, is not a real guy at all. This movie is fiction. Because obviously, I believed that Forrest Gump was real for so long, it's actually embarrassing. I have no reason for why I believed it for so long as a child, other than like, I was dumb. I was so dumb and clueless, and I just watched the movie one time and thought, this is real. This is real life. Things that have really happened. And they are not. Because obviously, here's a list of things that Forrest Gump does in the movie just to highlight and give you an idea about how clueless I was as a kid. Forrest Gump as a child meets Elvis and teaches Elvis how to dance. 2, Forrest Gump runs away from bullies one time and he outruns a pickup truck. And he runs onto a football field, and he just runs. In the middle of the game, just runs. And gets a football scholarship to college. I put this one on here because I still, to this day, don't know how football works. But that just feels silly. So I'm gonna believe that that's not how it goes. He joins the army, where he goes to Vietnam and gets shot in the butt. He then gets awarded a Medal of Honor by the President, Lyndon B. Johnson. Now, be honest. Can you tell me when Lyndon B. Johnson was president? If you can, shut up, okay? Don't be mean about it. You don't have to be smug. But he flashes his ass to the president on TV, and I thought this was a biopic, you guys. I thought this really happened. Forrest Gump played, and let me check my notes here to be very specific about this. He played ping pong to beat communism.
Way for me to fight the communists was to play ping pong.
Yup. Also, he's the reason for Watergate. Now, I put this one on the list because I'm giving my 8-year-old self a pass because there is no way she knew what Watergate was. I don't know what Watergate is. I've never seen the movie. Like, honestly, don't worry about it, girl. I'm just saying. Basically, this movie is about Forrest Gump sitting on a bench at a bus stop. And for most of this 2-hour and 22-minute long movie, hey, let me tell ya, not necessary. Don't make movies more than 2 hours, thanks. Thank you. That's all I had to say about that. Forrest Gump sits down on a bench and then he just starts talking to the lady next to him. This lady is very obviously not interested in what he has to say. And I gotta be honest with you, I wouldn't be either. But Forrest Gump is a sweetheart, and even when the lady runs away to get away from him, he just keeps on, does not shut up, keeps talking. The longest wait for the bus stop ever. So, we get a bunch of stories, and that's what the movie is. One of the stories is about how he went to war in Vietnam. He meets a man called Benjamin Buford Blue, aka Bubba, who comes from a family of people who cook shrimp. Do you see what I'm getting at? Do you see how I'm getting back to the point? Bubba Gump Shrimp. Anyway. Bubba tells Forrest that when he gets out of the army, when his tour is done, when his time's up, he's gonna go and purchase a shrimping boat and start his own business. Spoiler alert, Bubba does not make it out of the army. Hey, what was the war in Vietnam about? Why did we go to Vietnam? Anyway, we went to Vietnam and Bubba died. But Forrest Gump did not die. That's why his name's on the movie and not Bubba's. And he gets out of the army after playing ping pong to defeat communism. Is that what we were doing in Vietnam? Were we beating communism in Vietnam? He plays ping pong to end communism. He gets a brand deal. He gets money. He uses that money to buy a shrimping boat. Bubba Gump Shrimp. Woo! I love coming full circle, girl. Now, you might be thinking what I thought at this point, which is, oh, so did Paramount, or the guy who wrote Forrest Gump, create a chain restaurant franchise based off of this one vignette from Forrest Gump's life? And the answer is no. So there's a guy named Anthony Zalesi who woke up one day and decided to purchase the licensing of Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, just woke up one day and decided, you know what, let me call Paramount. I wanna buy the licensing to sell stuff based off of this really popular Oscar award-winning movie. I don't want to fathom how rich you have to be to just watch a movie and decide, you know what, I'm gonna take that idea. And you know what, the people who own that idea, Paramount, I'm just gonna pay them and it'll be fine. How? I can't wrap my head around that. Eat the rich, that's all I'm saying. So he secured the only licensing deal with Forrest Gump ever, and it included shrimp, chocolates, hats, and t-shirts, which, as I stated before, I love. Now we have the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. A random billionaire watched Forrest Gump, had his own seafood business that was not doing great. He rebranded as Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. and then he rebranded a restaurant called the Rusty Pelican. It doesn't matter. And now we've got 34 Bubba Gump Shrimp Companies around the world. From what I remember, the gimmick of the restaurant was leaned into pretty hard. There was like photos everywhere, like decorations and everything was very Forrest Gump inspired. Upon looking at the menu, I kind of expected more of the menu items to be like references to the movie, like overt references to the movie. What I'm saying is I expected them to commit to the bit a bit more. You're called the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. Commit to the bit. Like, try harder. But I will say, when they did commit, baby me loved that shit. She ate it up, literally. They have these things on the table that if you don't need your server, it says, "Run, Forrest, run!" Because, like, we don't need you. And then if you needed your server, you'd flip it and it says, "Stop, Forrest, stop." I loved that. This is how simple I was. I loved that. I apologize to any servers who got pissed off at my abuse of the flippy signs. I don't think I needed a server ever, but boy was I flipping signs. I also remember that sometimes the servers, bless their souls, did Forrest Gump trivia with their tables. I can't remember if they did this with every table all the time, which sounds like a nightmare. I hope they didn't do this with every table, because I don't know how you are juggling all your tables and their needs and also trivia with 8-year-olds. I would simply set the restaurant on fire if I was working there. I'm sure you could opt into it. I also remember that the questions were not that difficult. And I know that they weren't that difficult not because I remember what they are. I think that they're not particularly difficult because I was a child and I was getting questions right. So how difficult could the trivia be? So in lieu of driving 2 hours and spending money on food and making a server do trivia for me alone by myself, I'm just gonna do something more fun, which is give you bits of trivia that I picked up on upon rewatching this at 3 a.m. These notes are just 3 a.m. notes. And so that way, if you've never seen Forrest Gump, you can have some bullet point trivias. Here are some facts about Forrest Gump, the movie, that I am obsessed with. I don't know what this says about me. A couple of simple facts. The first fact that I wrote down was that Forrest Gump is waiting for bus number 9. I remember that fact for no reason. It's just one of the first things that he said. And ultimately, spoiler alert, he doesn't end up getting on the bus. So why did I save that information? I should delete it. John Travolta was almost cast as Forrest Gump, which is a bullet dodged for you and me. Let's be honest. That's a bullet dodged for you and I. Famous comedian turned turf, Dave Chappelle, was offered the role of Bubba, and decided ultimately not to take it because he thought that the movie Forrest Gump would be unsuccessful. Naturally, he felt regretful over this, and according to Wikipedia, Tom Hanks heard about how much regret Dave Chappelle had over not being in the movie and agreed to work with him on another film, that film being You've Got Mail, with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And Dave Chappelle. So this is, for me, this fact is hilarious. Forrest Gump's mother, played by Sally Fields, named Forrest. The line he says is he was named after a Civil War hero, but also he is named after Nathan Bedford Forrest, a Scotch-Irish American and a noted Confederate general in the American Civil War, and the first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Hey! Hey, huh? She intended his name to be a reminder that sometimes we all do things that just don't make no sense. Hey, huh? Hey, what? Hey. No? Because that is so fucking funny. That's so dumb. That is so dumb. Some people need to have their naming rights removed by law. There are a lot of iconic lines in Forrest Gump, but the only lines that I'm interested in, as a female in her mid-20s, are the lines that my father will not let go of. My father quotes these lines, like says at least one of these every single day, I presume since 1994. So like longer than I've been alive, every single day my father has said one of these lines. So I'm just gonna tell you what the lines are. You got the classic, life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Classic. Stupid is as stupid does. He says that one a lot, mostly in defense of his own actions. I don't think it's doing what he thinks it's doing, but I let him have it. That's all I have to say about that. Is another one that he says it so often that I actually forgot that this was a quote from Forrest Gump when he says it. He's saying it as a quote, and I just didn't connect those dots because he says it all the time, and words have lost meaning. Is probably the one that I like the most. I think it's so funny. Is when he says,
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius!
And he always says it notably when the person he's speaking to, namely me, has said or done something very stupid. It hurts. I won't lie, it hurts. But in like a family bonding kind of way. In like a father-daughter bonding kind of way. I love my dad. Forrest Gump met on a talk show. Don't ask me which one. There were so many. John Lennon, and inspired him to write the song Imagine, which I think is so fun because in the Forrest Gump cinematic universe, the FGCU, if you will, that means that Forrest Gump is to blame for the 2020 dumpster fire that was Gal Gadot and friends singing Imagine, but also the less talked about but even more hilarious Millie Bobby Brown video. You may say I'm a dreamer. I love that. Forrest Gump is to blame for that. That's so funny. And the last fun fact, but actually really, really sad fact. I'm gonna read this directly from, I think this is from Wikipedia. I'm gonna read this verbatim because this one had me gagged. Winston Groom, the author of Forrest Gump, the novel, you know, the person who created the characters in the story, was paid $350,000 for the screenplay rights to his novel Forrest Gump, and was contracted a 3% share of the film's net profits. Now that sounds pretty good. For me, who, again, I hate to keep bringing this up, but I'm living in the we have food at home era, okay? For me, that sounds like a ton of money. However, when you keep reading, we find out Paramount and the film's producers did not pay him the percentage, using Hollywood accounting to posit that the blockbuster film that won 6 Oscars, mind you, lost money. Furthermore, Tom Hanks, you know the guy who played the character that wouldn't exist if Winston Groom had not created him, mind you, Tom Hanks contracted for a % share of the film's gross receipts instead of a salary, and he and the director Zemeckis each received, already getting heated, $40 million. Hey, huh? What is with Hollywood's dedication, commitment to not paying people? Maybe this is just broke bitch behavior. Maybe that's just a broke bitch question. But I think that if you do work and that work brings someone else some value, later on down the line, that you should be compensated. If they couldn't create their thing without your thing, I think you should be compensated. Is that crazy? Groom's dispute with Paramount was later effectively resolved after Groom declared that he was satisfied with Paramount's explanation of their accounting. This happened to coincide with Groom receiving a 7-figure contract with Paramount for film rights for another one of his books, Gump and Co. This film was never made, remaining in developmental hell for at least a dozen years. Paramount? Real quickly, I wanted to flag this, so I'm sweating now. I just did. Girl, call me Sean Johnson. The acrobatics that I just did to climb up on a shelf, to grab this from the purgatory where it lives. I just wanted to show you that I do have merch from Bubba Gump. This is the one from Gatlinburg. Clearly. Look at that cute little shrimp. Like, who doesn't want that on a shirt? It came in a matching set. There's 2. My parents very obviously ordered drinks when we were there, and we have a fun little cup. I remember exactly when we went to Gatlinburg, because Gatlinburg, I imagine, is in Tennessee, and the only time I've ever been to Tennessee is when my cousin was turning 16. We went there for her 16th birthday. I rode a zip line and went to Bubba Gump Shrimp. For reference, that cousin turns 30 soon. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm gonna put this back. Ugh. Why was that so much harder to reach the second time? We have quickly descended into chaos around these parts. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to talk about in regards to Forrest Gump or the Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. And I don't think I do. I think I got it out of my system. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, where it came from, how fun it is. I had no reason to do. I just had to get this out of my system. I'm so glad that I did. I'm in such a better mood now that I got to. I'm so glad that I found that cup. I just like, just so many memories came rushing back in. I'm in such a good mood now, and because of that, I'm not gonna sit here and make a video anymore. I'm gonna go touch grass, maybe. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I will post another video about another thing that I just had a thought about. Check out some of the videos on the channel. They'll be linked at the end. And okay, bye. Thanks, bye. Okay, bye.